Hello, everyone. How are you? I am Violet Lee, your Tai Chi examiner. Many of you know me from my writing. I have written more than 800 articles. And today, it's a special day for me. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to learn a few things about the healing art as well as the spiritual side of it. And first, let me share a story with you. Last year, I was invited to teach at a retreat in Mexico, and which is a Palenque in the Yucatan Peninsula. There were nine other Qigong instructors there as well. So each of us would teach our expertise area. And one day, and Sifu, Kathryn Davis, and she was giving leading a practice. So I sat in, and her Qigong exercise is very different than mine. Of course, there are thousands of Qigong forms, and it's very diverse. So after that, I guess I was 65 minutes or 70 minutes. I felt so good. And Sifu Kathryn Davis, as I mentioned, her Qigong form is different than mine. Mine is more, how should I say, physical involved. And her is more mental and spiritual. And so that experience, really opened up my eyes, and I feel so good. And Sifu Kathryn Davis is a Qigong teacher with a specialty in the healing principles of medical Qigong remedy routines, Qigong inner fitness, and Qigong self-care. She is a graduate of the Oregon College of Oriental Medicine and certified to teach soaring Quen, J-body, essence, total longevity, and super energy forms, etc. And she's also a founder of a Kuli Sen, a healing system, which include a Qigong form, postures, and healing technologies. And she has accomplished a lot in this area. But why don't we have her come into the studio and talk about instead of me just reading of her bio? Okay, and I just invite her. Okay, well, Sifu Davis, and thank you for joining us today. And well, I was sharing with our audience about my experience last year in Palenque, and I really how should I say appreciate that session. And after taking your class, I don't remember it was 65 minutes or 70 minutes. I felt so good. I felt so relaxed, and at the same time rejuvenated. And it's incredible. And as I mentioned to my audience before you come into the studio, and I mentioned say your qigong form, at least at that time, you share with us is a little bit different than most qigong I have been teaching in practice, and mine is more physical movements. And your things is it's almost like it's very meditative. And you through your talk, you got that really nice voice, and then so you just led us through the different parts of the body and the organs, and then yes, it was quite an enjoyable and amazing experience.
Oh,
So,
thank you so much.
well, thank you for coming. I know you're very busy. And would you mind just share with us? how did you start your journey? Because I look at your bio, you have done quite a lot of stuff. You have learned a lot. So why did you started this journey?
Well, it it almost was kismet in the sense that I used to do long distance race walking, and I would do marathons as a race walker, and I would train with my friends in the park. And one of my friends invited me to this meeting, this gathering in the park, and I didn't know really what it was. She said it was Qigong. And I didn't really understand it that much, but I did the exercises. And that day I had probably trained for about 15 hours in a long distance training. And I realized that after doing the Qigong, when I first started, I was totally exhausted. But after the session of Qigong, I realized that I actually felt better than I did before I started my day of training. And I
Oh,
said to
that's
myself, well, I have more energy. I feel more relaxed. Nothing is aching or paining. And I'm like, there's really something to this Qigong. And from there, I just kept following it. And I trained with my first teacher, who is Japanese. And then from her, I went to her teacher, who was Chinese. And it just went on from there. And I just found or was introduced to different people. And I just was insatiable. I loved it so much.
wonderful. And my understanding, and you is well versed in the so-called Chinese qigong and healing art, and you also and how should I say, have a trend in different modality of the art, and like Reiki, and then and something is more how should I say, American indigenous type of things, as well as the like I don't know if I say it right, Dagara and
Mm-hmm.
Dangong, and those are from the Africa traditions, and
Mm-hmm.
as well as the Maya and Aztec. So, so since you have exposed to and trained and also taught, right, and in
Mm-hmm.
all those areas. So, what do you think about all these different kind of healing arts, and are there any commonalities or similarities among them, or is one is better than the other, or based on the condition, or and so forth?
Um, well, there are remarkably a lot of similarities. And as I've gone into the different traditions, they all have their cultural differences. So you see their belief systems and their societies inside the practice. But when you get down to the fundamentals, it's still dealing with the same energy, the same principles, and the same understanding. So I kind of look at it as if I was speaking five different languages. It would sound different, but you would be saying the same thing in each language. And I find that all the different practices are have the same basic fundamentals of reality. The foundation of reality being energy, and I would add to that spirit, energy and spirit, and then depending on the culture, it manifests in a different way. So I have found that they reinforce each other and they help in the strengthening of each other as well. So I think the first training I had was Reiki. And Reiki is comes from Japan and it's spiritually guided energy, and you get initiated by a master of those healing arts, and you have an initiation to open up certain channels that move through your body that you can then radiate through your hands to help people heal. And you can do it directly or at a distance. And then I started with the Qigong. And when I started doing Qigong, I noticed that the energy that I was able to tap into through Reiki was much stronger. And so I found that there was kind of a transfer in terms of the my capacity to channel through energy through my body to be able to work with other people and also to be able to heal myself. So they're very similar, and they're all shamanic practices to some degree. So if you go far back enough in Qigong, before Qigong and Tai Chi and before the formal arts of it, it
Mm-hmm.
was shamanic. And, it was through shamanic practices that they came to understand what the energy system is. Because you can't cut open the body and see the energy, you have to be able to see it in your perception. So, and the African practices, the Mayan practices, they're all shamanic. So it's about learning how to go deep into an intuitive space and connect with this historical wisdom. So one way of getting the wisdom is through lineage holders. One teaches the other and then the other, and you learn it that way. But through that teaching, there's an kind of a underlying knowing that exists in the energy field, and that's part of that shamanic practice. So I find that that's part of what connects them as well as the same orientation to directions and similar ideas. I mean, they may not have yin and yang, but they have that cooperative of the feminine and the masculine, the light and the dark. So you'll find that in many practices around the world.
So they're probably talking about the same thing, but using different uh, names, right?
Different
To
names, and
uh-huh.
because their cultures are different, the concepts might be slightly different, but the core idea and the core principles are very, very similar.
I see. So with Reiki, as you explained, is the practitioner actually is like a healer, right?
Yeah.
And I myself, I practice Qigong, okay, the so-called the heal, health Qigong.
Mm-hmm.
I don't consider myself as a healer at all. I teach people what to do so they become healthier and their symptoms and then their uh, illness and go away. But I don't consider myself as a healer. But with Reiki, is the practitioners are actually healers, right?
Yeah, the practitioners are actually bringing energy, you know, through their body and allowing the energy come through their hands. And you place your hands in different positions on a person's body. So what ultimately ends up happening in these kind of practices is that you're not using your energy, your personal energy. Your body is more like a straw.
So
So
we are you are the conduit,
the
right?
conduit, yeah, and the
So
energy comes through. So the person you're working with is determining what they need, and you're just facilitating that, allowing the energy to come through into their bodies.
so ultimately, where did this come from? If it's they come through you, but where is that from the universe or
Yeah,
what's the
it's
source of it?
yeah, it's they characterize it in Reiki as spiritually guided life force energy. So if you're thinking in terms of the Qigong, you have the Tao, the Yin, the Yang, and out of that, all things are made.
Mhm.
So that energy is constantly flowing through the universe, and we can consider that our life force energy. And when our body is no longer to receive that energy, we transition. But the energy is there and available to us if we can tap into it. And I believe that's part of what Qigong does as well. You're not just moving energy through your body, you're drawing the earth chi through, the cosmic chi through,
Yes, with
working with the
energy.
energies of the directions and
Hmm.
nature. So
Hmm.
there's more explanation in the Qigong than in the Reiki, but it's essentially drawing from that vitality and life force that allows everything to be alive and to breathe.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you for explaining that. You said very well. So how about like uh, this reminds me, last year when we were at Palenque, and we were very fortunate. Besides, their great teachings, and then we will also have opportunity to go to the Mayan ruins, right? And then in the one excursion, we could not find you. We could not find you. We said, where is Katherine? And then all of a sudden, we look around and then saw you lay on the ground. And some people say, what happened? Is she feeling sick or whatever? you know, so I believe Sharon went up to you and then find out actually. Why don't you explain what happened to you?
Well, actually, nothing happened to me, but I have it comes from doing a lot of this work on a deep level, on a shamanic level. And so, like for instance, the Mayan Aztec work takes you into, the in modern ways you would say subconscious, but it takes you into a level where you can have conversation with your former selves and other energies that you are experiencing in your work. So very often when I go to a place that is very ancient, and this could be like a site like the pyramids and those traditional areas, I can seep into the energy that was there earlier on. And it's almost like I can feel the energies of the ancients coming through. And so when that happens, I like to be very quiet with that energy so that I can receive whatever messages or guidance might be coming through. And it's not really coming through in words, but it's just coming through more in understanding what our ancestors experienced in the earth. So I can feel that. And so I could be in a place, and if I get very, very quiet, I could almost, I won't say it's transcending time, but I could feel the energy of the beings who lived there thousands of years ago. And it feels very grounding to do
Were
that.
you scared?
Mm-mm. I'm
So it's
totally,
not it's
it
not ghost.
isn't, yeah, it's not disappearing or anything. It's like if you're sitting under the sun, you feel the heat of the sun. It's
Uh-huh.
more like that. So it's like when you're in the city, you feel a lot of discordant energy and a lot of chaotic energy, and you pick that up, and it might make you feel jittery or nervous. When you're in an ancient site, it's sort of like that. You just pick up that kind of rich energy, and it makes you really calm and sink into the kind of depth that is
Yeah, no
possible.
wonder when you came back and joined the group, you look very grounded and look very relaxed. So we thought, oh, she was fine, she wasn't being sick or whatever. But at first we were a little bit worried, saw you on the ground. So that was neat, and yeah, and So I really admire you because as a African American woman, and how should I say, is that difficult for you to teach the healing art? And because in general, I think uh, I hope I don't make anybody uncomfortable, but this is the truth. And we have underrepresentation from the African American communities or other minority groups. And even though Tai Chi and Qigong and has been practiced all over the world, but however, in this country, and for some reason, and it is less and
Mm-hmm.
less population percentage of people practice. So you teaching mostly in the African community. Is that true or I'm wrong? Let me know if I'm
Um,
wrong.
I don't think I would say that I mostly teach in the, say the African American Black community, however people like to be named, doesn't matter to me. But that's who responds to me. So I started out teaching, well, not first started out, but for a very long time I taught at a big church in New York City, the Riverside Church, which is a huge multi-racial congregation. And they invited me to, someone there was someone who was very progressive, and they invited me to come and teach a class. But those who would gravitate to me are ones who see me as a familiar face, and those who might not would gravitate to someone that they consider to be more familiar to them. So I think that, there's a way in which more um, black people will be attracted to me and more women will be attracted to me as a teacher, just because there's familiarity and there's a congruence culturally that people resonate with. Though I've had quite a number of male students, uh, I would say all of my students have a tendency to be able to appreciate the yin, because my teaching and my practice is more on the gentler side. I don't really move through the martial arts. And
Mhm.
I love Tai Chi, but my attraction has always been to the healing arts. So I tend to move even further onto that side. So I think that that's where a lot of the division is made. And I would also say that up until in terms of politics, up until that big episode with the George Floyd incident, it was only then, after that, that I began to be invited into different places to teach. And I think what had
Really? Uh-huh.
happened,
Mhm.
um, well, not all, but in general, I was sought out more, and I think it's because people's awareness was heightened. Well, wait, because it wasn't just me; it was
Mhm.
me and male practitioners who are African American. All of a sudden, our faces began to show up in the bigger organizations because they had come to. I don't think it was intentional, but it came into everyone's awareness. Well, wait, there must be other people. And once they started seeking out, they found that we were there.
Yes.
So I think
Mhm.
that there could be awareness on both sides to
Mhm.
help bring in people from different cultures who are drawn into this practice. But
Understood.
yeah.
Mhm. Well, actually, personally, and how should I say? I have taught a lot of people, thousands of people, but I teach both Tai Chi and Qigong. And on my Qigong side, most students are female. And on the Tai Chi side, I would say maybe 60-40, 60 being men.
Hmm.
But on the Qigong side, 80%, 80 to 90% are female.
Yeah.
So I guess, yeah, there's, I don't know. It's interesting, actually. Both arts are great for human bodies, right? So
Absolutely. And Tai Chi for me is a form of Qigong,
exactly,
because
you're
it's
so right
healing.
about it. You're so right about it.
It's just as healing as many of the Qigong forms. I
Mm-hmm.
think that that kind of split is more Western in the sense that I had traveled to China a few times to study mainland China, and in talking to the different masters of the different arts, I discovered that most of the mastery of the martial arts in China, they have to know the Qigong first.
Well,
So they do
yeah,
the internal arts, they have to
mhm,
know how to heal, how to connect, and then that's where they draw the power to do the martial arts. So there's not that
mhm.
separation.
You're absolutely right. And of course, some people they don't understand. They think Tai Chi is Tai Chi, Qigong is Qigong. That's very wrong. And and then yeah. So very good. Thanks for sharing your view, your perspective with us. And you are very talented, I found. And so you have done many things besides the healing art, and you're really good with the words, and you're also very good with graphic design. And you're the host and producer of a weekly program, and it's called Heart of Mind. What does that mean? Heart of Mind.
Yeah, heart of mind is for me. It's similar to kind of the concept uh, in qigong and traditional Chinese medicine of the heart mind. It's not just the brain. There's a union needs to be made from the heart and the mind and the body in order to have full consciousness. And so, heart of mind is that for me, when we are intellectual and we're just thinking logic, we cut ourselves off from all of the sacredness and the magic of life, which travels through the heart. And so, heart of mind is to let us know that if you truly want to be expansive and to elevate yourself, you need to have the heart as part of your forward movement. The mind alone, I believe, is what gets us into trouble
Mhm,
because it's so much, the mind has so many sinkholes in it. It's so easy to get lost because the mind has so many psychological issues and histories and wounding and ego, and all that stuff can really
mhm,
separate us from our
mhm.
true self. And I believe that we need to move through the heart in order to understand who we truly are. So that's why Heart of Mind. And the program itself is about consciousness, spirituality, and health. So it brings all these concepts of mind, body, spirit together in order to be able to create a wholesome life for ourselves and true health. You can't be healthy in the body and have emotional wounds. Those
Mhm,
emotional wounds will gradually interfere and cause your physiology to decline.
mhm,
You can't have a lot of constructs of anger and resentment because that translates into the energy, into the physical body. So
mhm.
I feel that we need this wholeness in order to really be able to express ourselves as human beings.
Well, that sounds very profound, the idea, and very good. So, where can people hear? This is a weekly program, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the program airs on a Pacifica station, WBAI in New York. The call letters are, I mean, the dial is 99.5 FM, and that can be heard in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, in that general Northeast area. But for everyone, it's on the internet at wbai.org, and it's at 11 a.m. on Friday mornings.
So would you mind later on provide me with this information? I will be putting underneath the video. So if
Okay.
anyone interested and to listening to the radio, I think it's a 1 hour program.
Yeah,
Or
it's about a 1 hour program, and we have all kinds of guests. And what I love about the radio show is that it's live and people can call in and ask questions, and we can have discussions about things. So I really
give me
enjoy that
the calling
interaction.
number also. Let me post
Okay.
that information as well. So how long you have been doing this radio program?
I've kind of lost track, but it's more than 35 years.
35 years. Whoa. Well, in certain way, you kind of visionary because I think now more and more the people talking about this kind of a topic, the consciousness and the brain and the psychology part of it, and how they all related and how they affect each other, right? Mind body. So you were really at forefront.
Yeah, people used to think I was wacko. You know, I was entertaining, but but otherwise, it was like, what is she talking about? But yeah, I mean, it seems to have grown a lot since I started out with, this whole journey. Yeah.
So a lot of times, things like you were talking about, and just a while ago, you're talking about the ancient, uh, the
Hmm.
ancestors or whatever. You feel something, and so I would even say like 15 years ago or 20 years ago, I thought this is really far fetched. I don't know what she's talking about. But now people start to understand from the really, really forefront from the quantum physics.
Yeah, and
And
that's
then
really
they
what.
understand all the things are connected. It's not just
Mhm.
say right now, you and I, we connected because we are all living creatures right now. Okay. But even the things never goes away. People die, and then it just exists in a different form and a different type of reality, right?
Mhm.
So, so the yeah, this is really really interesting. So I am glad that people like you and had a vision and start that kind of conversation long time ago. That's excellent.
Yeah, and I think it really has helped the way science has begun to converge with spiritual teachings so that people can understand it in that more formal way. It really, I think, has helped a lot.
Yes, definitely. Well, I know your time is very precious, and last year, and you and I, we all, how should I say, and brought into this concept, and then we formed an organization, a nonprofit organization called Immortal Sister of the Tao, and our goal is to help people in all different communities, especially in the disadvantaged community. And if they want to learn the healing art, and but without any financial means, and we will provide them with scholarship. And last year, as we first started, it wasn't easy, and then we had to do a lot of work ourselves. And you being very busy, I understand, and with your own life that time, but you still jump in with both feet. I remember so many during so many meetings. You were there either gobbling down the dinner or lunch or whatever, and so why you wanted to do this?
I think one of the things that is most rewarding that we can do is to be sure that we have something meaningful in our life. And this is something that I've always enjoyed doing, is being able to introduce people and to provide for people who might not otherwise know about it or might not otherwise have access to it. Sometimes it can be very expensive for people. And like you said, women don't always feel nourished in a dojo. I mean, some women have that energy, but a lot of women might not have that energy to step in and, kind of compete with the guys on, out in on the floor. And so I think this is a wonderful way to introduce women and people who might not try it out. Let's see what it can do. But also the other part of it is that I understand how powerful qigong is, and I believe that a lot of the communities who are more challenged are living with a lot more stress,
Mhm.
have a lot of ailments because they may not have access to the kind of healthcare that they need. And I believe that Qigong, Tai Chi, and these ancient practices can help people save their own lives. Like you were saying, you can teach them and then they can practice and they can heal themselves. And I think that's a beautiful gift and a beautiful meaning to have going forward. So I really hope that it grows so that more and more people will have access to these healing arts.
Yeah, I sure hope so. And last year, I guess because we just started, and then a lot of how shall I say, friends and whatever, they all pitch in, and so we had a very successful year. And then you, besides donate a free lesson and to give to the donors, right? And
Hmm.
you also did you also donate other classes for people they can apply as the scholarship, right?
Well, I hope to do that this year. I didn't
Oh,
do it
okay,
last year, but I hope to be able to do that this year because I really am embracing this year of the fire horse. It's such a powerful time, and I think that we can really um, accomplish a lot with this energy.
wonderful. And I can share with you. And last year, and I donated to a scholarship, and so I trained two very passionate individuals, and they learn the art, and then they also certified to teach. And the entire process was very, very rewarding for me. And I feel the privilege I had that kind of opportunity, and then to share, and then to give back to the society. So it's great, and if this year you will be able to do that, that's wonderful. And
Yeah, and I spoke to the two women that you mentored, and they
oh,
are so enriched by it as they speak of that experience. So I think you really did something special.
well, I just the opportunity presents itself, and I think that's one good thing is with the Immortal Sisters, a scholarship a program, and I was able to help people, and then so yeah, I hope we can grow, so more people can be benefiting from it, and also I, I I think the beauty of it is it's like you drop something into a pond, and then
Hmm.
you just see the wave just keep growing out, expanding, right? And the people I work with, and they are already instructors,
Mm-hmm.
and now they have more things they can teach, and they are very excited about teaching different forms and different qigong exercises. So yes, I hope yeah.
We
So
can do more
everyone,
of
if
that.
out
Yeah.
here watching, if you agree with what Kathryn and I do, if you share our vision, and please and join our we have a so-called fundraising event or benefit event coming up. And would you mind address a little bit for us, Kathryn?
Oh, yeah, I think it's coming, it's online, the benefit. It's May 9th, and you're going to be able to see a variety of teachers of Qigong, Tai Chi, all women. Violet will be there, I will be there, and we're teaching people different facets of Qigong. And I focus on Qigong self care. And this is really teaching people how to um, absorb the teachings in a way that's really relevant to whatever they might be going through, what their system needs, mind, body, soul. How can they really enrich their own lives? And so for the presentation, it's going to be part of the Qigong self care, but it's going to be focused very much on the energies that are coming through with the fire horse. And these are very fast paced, fast changing energies. And if we don't moderate within ourselves, then we could very easily burn out. We can very easily get sick. We can very easily lose our way. And so I'm going to be sharing some techniques that we could use to bring ourselves back into balance. And at the same time, it's the kind of energy that we can do a lot of progress because
No,
everything's galloping.
I'm so
Yeah.
glad you're doing that, because this year is a year of fire horse. Yes, a fire horse can bring lots of energy to us, and then so a lot of things good things can happen. But if we cannot manage it, we cannot manage ourselves, and it could be a disaster as well.
Mm-hmm.
So so yes, this is the time. Yes, we really need to have a good tool, and to help ourselves to be healthier and stronger, and as you said, and then to deal with all these energy
All
out there.
that's going on, yeah. And also because we have this much energy coming through with the fire horse, we want to be able to channel that into our own progress. How do I
Mhm.
have the energy to do all the things I've been avoiding or procrastinating? We want to channel that energy so that we can have the stamina to move where we want to move in this year.
Yeah. So my understanding is, if people donate to the um, the foundation, by the way, which is the donation is tax deductible. Yes,
Hmm.
tax deductible. And since we are 501c, right? And so so if you donate it to the organization, and you can have lifetime access to the teachings Kathryn is
Yeah,
doing,
that's
and as
right.
well as others.
And I also just want to tell people that not only benefiting yourself when you make that donation, the whole idea is for you to be able to sort of giving forward to people who really need this and may not otherwise have it. So you get the deduction, but you also get the feel good of knowing that you helped another person to get well, to heal, to prosper, and be able to move forward. And I think that that's something we would all benefit from having done. So I encourage everyone to make that donation.
Well, thank you very much, Kathryn. And you have a lot of projects going on, and I know you always keep yourself going, and helping others. And So thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us today. I really appreciate it. So for everyone, you're watching this, and if you have any questions for Kathryn and myself, you can read the information below this video, and then you can get in touch with Kathryn or myself. If you come to me and you have questions for Kathryn, I definitely will pass along to Kathryn. Okay, and thank you all very much for watching. And if you like what we do here, and please share and this video with your friends and family, and put a like also. Okay. Thank you, Kathryn.
Thank you very much for inviting me. It's been great.
Thank you.